Hey, from Bugeye guys, thanks for coming with me today on a drive in Emil, which is roughly our 402nd Bugeye that we've sold. And we are checking the horn and checking everything else today on this drive. I'm out on the last test drive before the car leaves, and in fact it's destined for a new home in Montana. So we don't really get an easy chance to get this car back, and that puts the pressure on us to produce really the ultimate Sprite. So how do we do that? We build them out, we go through the options that we have available with the client, we make all these improvements, and then we go and we see if it can make the drive to the Y for me to go swimming or wherever I might be going. And so I'm out on a test drive looking for any issues before this car departs. Now, I've been on this section of road hundreds of times in Sprites with quarter elliptical rear springs. I know exactly how they should go through these bumps, and I know what to do when they're not right. So we're constantly rectifying suspension issues and ride quality issues to produce the best Sprites in the world. And Emil, this car is one of them. It's set up with a 5-speed transmission, front disc brakes. It has a wooden, beautiful burl wood dashboard, and even here there's traffic ahead. This is, perhaps one of the more boring parts of a video for most internet car videos. But in this case, I'm working here trying to find anything and everything. I'm suspicious in this moment that the high beam indicator is not working, and I'm trying to figure out if it's too bright in the sun or if it's actually broken and we have to fix it before the car departs. I'm checking the turn signals, the handbrake. I'm checking the horn at different positions of the steering wheel. I'm checking the light switch. Here we go. I'm trying to make it dark enough to read the little indicator for high beam. It was working. I tested it in the dark later that evening. And you don't want it too bright, which is exactly right. Otherwise, it would be blinding at night. But anyway, we have built this car out for the client. We've put the options that he wanted in place. We added rear view mirrors. We may have added LED lights or electronic ignition, anything and everything to make it more reliable and better and more fun to drive. In fact, I think this one got brand new carburetors, and that's one reason why it's so nice and smooth. There are no hiccups or flat spots or stumbles in this car, and that is worth so much to me. These cars are so tight and so just nimble and fun to throw into the turns. You want a car where every component of the car is sort of at one with your body. You wear this car, so if it stumbles or if the gas pedal has play in it or if the brake bushings are worn in the pedal, all of these things we're looking at and trying to figure out, can we make this car better? How is the gearbox? How are the synchros? How well does the car downshift, upshift? Does it pop out of gear? I bought a lot of Sprites where the seller will say it jumps out of gear, and it always did that. But it's not right. People have come to tolerate a very low standard for a lot of these old British cars. They've been out there for a long time. I mean, it's a 65-year-old car that nobody ever expected would last this long. But we're building them right, making them better than when they were new. And I think you can get the feel of that in this driving video. I also have a very important role in that this client has not met me and has not seen the car in person, so I have to really make sure it exceeds his expectations and that it's tight and responsive and just basically a blast to drive. Every one of the cars that we build goes through a pre-departure inspection. It's a multi-hour process. It's a long checklist. We're looking at the door hinges and anything and everything that might be loose. Even the side curtain screws, you can see there's rubber washers behind them because they can rattle, and to me that's one more annoyance that we want to prevent. But after that checklist is done, it's up to me to use my experience having driven so many of these cars and to make sure there are no rattles that are undesirable. They all have their chronic problems, don't get me wrong, but we can push the envelope further than anyone, I believe, because we have so much experience knowing what could break from what we see in the field, and also how to rectify those problems. And that's what makes our product so special. Thank you for coming for a drive with me today from Bugeye Guys.